you seen Star Wars?
I've enjoyed reading the Star Wars books that I've reviewed on the channel so far. The two High Republic books, The Light of the Jedi and Rising Storm, have proven to me that Star Wars can still have a bright future in storytelling, even if it's just in the book version. But in today's review, we take a blast from the past with Drew Karpyshyn's Darth Bane, The Path of Destruction. It's the first novel out of the beloved Bane trilogy, and since Bane was my favorite Sith growing up, I wanted to revisit his story by reading the very first novel of his trilogy. Sadly, the trilogy is no longer canon, and it's now a part of the Legends banner, but that doesn't affect my enjoyment of these stories. So spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't read the book or doesn't know the key details of Bane's story, because I will be going over that. The book really delves into the Sith and their philosophy. It starts with the new Sith Order, and they rise up and they call themselves the Brotherhood of Darkness. It's a very cringe name, it's really nerdy, but it's Star Wars, so I will turn the other cheek. But the Brotherhood of Darkness has this mentality that all the Sith are evil, and the title of Darth is no longer needed under this new Sith Order. Lord Khan, the leader of the Brotherhood of Darkness, believes that the Sith kill each other too often to truly defeat the Jedi, so he needs to unite the Sith, and they seem to follow him. I mean, he seems like a very convincing leader whose most prominent Force ability is battle meditation, where he can influence people's minds and emotions, and he does this to his Sith followers as well. When Bane was still calling himself Dessel, he was serving the Sith army, and he was discovering that he can use these unique abilities that can only be explained by the Force, and after being imprisoned for disobeying a superior in the battle for his foolish commands, Dessel is taken to the Sith homeworld in the expanded universe called Korriban. Here is where the story really picks up. I think it's pretty much part 2. There's 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 2, I think, is where he goes to the Korriban planet, and it's amazing. It really picks up. You see the first part of this novel really builds Bane as a character, so you can understand his hatred towards the world, towards the Jedi, but you also respect his grit, and it gets him through all of his struggles. As he arrives on Korriban, the story shifts from Dessel being a common foot soldier to becoming Bane, apprentice of the Brotherhood of Darkness, servant of the dark side. What I love about Bane is that he started out late in his training compared to the rest of the students, and to make up for that, he began studying the ancient Sith of old to understand the dark side. I personally feel that this is something I would want to do, this type of research, if I were a Force user, whether it be Jedi or Sith. I would really want to sit down and learn about the old Sith, the old Jedi, and the old ways of the Force and what those people did. And so this made my respect for Bane rise tremendously, but you can also see his determination to become the best. He's driven to be the most powerful Sith ever, and he does this by secretly training in about 3 different ways. One of them is he reads the old Sith text, which isn't bad, just a lot of people don't really care about the old Sith at this point. Then he trains at night with the greatest lightsaber duelist of that era, Master Kasim, and he also learns from a fellow student who has a unique relationship with him. Her name is Githany. She's kind of like a love interest for Bane, but she's also, in a way, a rival, because they both want to become the most powerful Sith that they possibly can be. As Bane learns more about the dark side, he begins to realize that the Brotherhood of Darkness does not represent the full power of the dark side. Bane believes there's no true Dark Lord of the Sith, and that all the Sith are equal. And then the dark side is tainted with this weakness of lesser Sith lords. Bane doesn't like the idea of having the fire of the dark side being spread amongst all these weak individuals. Bane believes that betrayal, cunningness, and deception are the weapons of the Sith that are no longer used due to the Brotherhood of Darkness trying to stay kind of honorable in their own ways. A lot of them feel like they need to have glory in death. They feel like they need to have honor in fighting when they fight the Jedi or the Sith. Bane does not think that. There is no honor among the Sith. He eventually turns his back on the Brotherhood, and he studies a Sith holocron made by Darth Revan on the planet of Rakata, and that's from the Knights of the Republic game, the very first one. Here he learns many secrets and is confronted by one of his old masters, and it's here we see just how much Bane has grown in the dark side. After this, he returns to the Brotherhood on the planet Ruusan, where the Brotherhood of Darkness have all gathered to face the Jedi's Army of Light, which is led by General Hoth. The book does a really good job of showing the contrast between the two leaders of this war and these two factions. Lord Khan, who is the leader of the Brotherhood of Darkness, relies on manipulation and leadership to rally the Sith. You can see this man trying to preach equality among the Sith, yet everyone knows he's the leader. It's very weird, and you see him slowly lose his mind to keep this perception of calm. Like he will look insane in 1 second, and then someone will talk to him and he will switch, so they think that he has everything under control. It's crazy learning about Lord Khan. I think there should be more about him and maybe another character like him in the future. Whereas you have Lord Hoth, who is the leader of the Jedi army, the Jedi Army of Light. He's more brutal with his words. He's kind of stubborn like an old man with more years behind him than ahead. Hoth almost feels like the Jedi of the prequel era. He's so hellbent on winning, and he's losing the light side ever so slowly in his, I guess, perception of the Force in attempt to defeat the dark side. He's going crazy just trying to defeat the dark side, and not in a crazy way like Lord Khan, but he's just hellbent. He's determined. He's almost forgotten why he's even in this war. I really enjoyed learning about these new Sith and how they approach the dark side, as opposed to Sith like Palpatine, or Exar Kun, Naga Sadow the Old. The last 5 chapters of this book was where I could not put it down. Bane uses deception and manipulation to take down the Brotherhood of Darkness, which I honestly internally disagree with, because the Jedi could have been defeated by the Brotherhood, and even then, let's say the Brotherhood of Darkness couldn't defeat the Jedi, I felt like it would be more impressive if Bane took down the Brotherhood by force, if he destroyed Lord Khan in a lightsaber battle, and maybe even other Sith, but I feel like I would fall victim to Bane's tricks, because unlike him, the betrayal and trickery of the Sith, it's not really in my element, so it's crazy that I can internally disagree with his character, but yet understand every action that he's making, and I question a lot of it along the way, and I really like that about this book. The Brotherhood of Darkness is pushed to a final stand, and Lord Khan relies on an ancient Sith ritual that brings out the Thought Bomb, which is to destroy the Jedi. It's this tool that is really terrifying. I've heard the story so many times, but I cannot express how terrifying the scene was in the book. The author paints a picture of how scary and mad the Sith have become. To pull this trick, the air is sucked out of the room that they're in, there's no light to be seen, and everyone is saying the spells to this ritual, and their minds slowly become one as they continue to put all their thoughts into this thought bomb. If this was in a movie, I think it would be awesome, but also extremely terrifying to see. The way the story built up the tension in the air leading up to this exact moment was absolutely perfect. The book is a page-turner, no doubt. I enjoyed everything about this book, and it constantly made me feel and think about the Sith Order, and I questioned if Bane was right about ending the Brotherhood of Darkness in favor of his rule of 2, a master and apprentice, one to embody the dark side and one to crave it. I really wonder if that's the route it should have gone, because we know how it ends with Palpatine, where he doesn't want the rule of 2. He doesn't want to have an apprentice take his place, so it kind of ends up shooting itself in the foot if you have someone exactly like Palpatine who refuses to pass on the lineage. The fact that I'm questioning Bane's philosophy on the Sith and the dark side is proof that this book makes you think about the bigger picture, even if it's only in the Star Wars world. And I'm shocked that I love this book as much as I did. I like the bad guys, I like learning about the Sith and all that, and I've always liked Bane, but this book really made me think and really made me invested in learning with Bane, learning about the dark side and the ancient Sith like Bane was learning. I love this book, and I have to say, and I'm happy to say, this is my first ever 10 out of 10 review for a Star Wars book. This book is great. It's well-paced, extremely well thought out. I found myself thinking about the story elements constantly when I was at work, proving to me that this book has stuck in my mind. I cannot wait to read the next Bane novel. That may come later this year. I have a lot of books to get to before I do that. Give me your thoughts on Darth Bane, Path of Destruction in the comment section below. What would you review it? If you have read it, if you haven't read it, are you going to reread it now? Thank you all for watching. If you like this video and review, please give it a like. To see more like it, please subscribe to the channel and stay up to date on the latest news in Star Wars. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you, always.